Welcome to my channel. Today we will be reading from the HOA subreddit. So let's jump into it with the first story. My HOA has banned me from talking to my neighbors. I live in a small neighborhood in Florida where everyone gets along really well. There are 25 homes in total and an HOA that manages the neighborhood. It's been fine for the most part. However, there have been some ridiculous things going on lately. First, they put up signs all over the place prohibiting golf carts. I don't mind this. I mean, golf carts are dangerous, and I don't want someone driving one of those killing my kids. But they also put up signs prohibiting people from walking in the street. This was ridiculous, and I complained. They responded by saying that they were concerned about liability should someone trip and fall while walking in the street. They also said that people should only be walking on the sidewalks or in the grassy areas next to the road. The grassy areas next to the road are like 6 inches tall. If you walk in them, you get grass stains on your shoes. Not to mention it's Florida, and there are freaking fire ants everywhere. No one in their right mind would walk in those. Now, the main issue is that many of the roads in our neighborhood do not have sidewalks. The HOA president lives at the end of one of these roads, and her sidewalk ends abruptly at the point where our road intersects with hers. She has been pushing for months to have the entire road repaved with a sidewalk on both sides. This project is going to cost tens of thousands of dollars, and every resident in the neighborhood has to pay for it through our HOA fees. I've talked to her about this, and she has basically told me that too bad so bad, because it's gonna happen anyway. Well, today, the construction started, and I decided to take a walk down to the end of the road to see what was going on. My wife and I took our 2 kids with us, but they stayed on the sidewalk while I went to talk to the foreman. Turns out the HOA had hired a private security guard to patrol the construction site. When he saw me approaching, he got in my face and told me I wasn't allowed to be on the road. I explained that I lived on that road and I had to get to my house, but he told me that I had to walk in the grass on the other side of the road. I asked him if he was serious, and he told me that I could take that up with the HOA. So I did. I emailed the HOA president, copied the board members, and the private security company. I asked her why I wasn't allowed to walk on the road where I lived and why I had to walk in the grass. I received a response from the security company first, basically saying that I would be trespassing if I walked on the road. Then I got an email from the HOA president saying that I shouldn't expect any reply from the board since it was a holiday week. Well, I replied to her email and said that I expected a response from the board since this was a matter of contention between myself and the board. She then replied to me saying that my attitude was unprofessional and that I should watch my language in all communications with the board. I just replied to her by saying, my language is professional courtesy. If I can't get a response from the board, then so be it. That was a week ago, and I haven't heard anything since. What's funny is that the day after I got the email from the HOA president, I looked out my front door and saw her walking down the middle of the road. Now, I didn't say anything, I just stared at her as she passed by. After she got to the end of the road, I walked back outside and proceeded to walk down the middle of the road to my house. It was at that point that I realized the true purpose of the new sidewalk. It's not for the children or the elderly or anyone else. It's just to keep me off the road. Down in the comments, we have a similar story from unreasonable. I had something similar happen when I moved into my condo complex. I was getting stuff out of my car, and the neighbor behind me was coming home. As he passed by, he gave me a huge lecture about how I wasn't allowed to park in front of my own condo because it was his parking spot. And I was like, bro, I literally just moved in. Also, that's not your parking spot. You're parked in the visitor parking section. He tried to argue with me, but I cut him off and said, listen, buddy, if you have an actual problem, take it up with the management office because right now you're just being a dick. Then he called the cops. They came out and told me that it was a civil matter and to take it up with the HOA. And I was like, see, this is what I'm talking about. Yes, the classic Karen trying to use the police to solve a personal problem. I love seeing these stories because karma always comes back to bite these people in the ass. If you like this content, check out my page where I publish extra episodes. Also hit that subscribe button because I put out new Reddit videos every single day.